Breaking news out of Washington tonight. President Donald Trump has just declared what many are calling a global war, not with missiles or armies, but with sanctions, tariffs, and economic blockades that could change the face of world politics forever. Within the last hour, the White House released a statement confirming that Trump's administration will impose sweeping trade restrictions not only on rival nations such as China, Russia, and Iran, but also on long-standing allies in Europe, Asia, and even Latin America. Analysts are already calling this the most aggressive move in modern U.S. history, a declaration of war against the global order itself. The announcement has sent shockwaves through international markets. Stock exchanges from London to Tokyo plunged within minutes of the statement. Headlines are flashing across every major network. Trump versus the world. Global economy in crisis. White House unleashes trade war apocalypse. In New Delhi, furious crowds are gathering outside American fast food chains after Indian leaders vowed to boycott U.S. products. In Brussels, European Union officials rushed into emergency meetings, warning that NATO itself could fracture under the weight of Trump's economic blitzkrieg. And yet, inside the United States, the reaction is just as explosive. Critics are calling this not just reckless, but dangerous. Democratic firebrand Jasmine Crockett wasted no time, issuing a scathing statement. This is not leadership, this is sabotage. Trump is dismantling America's alliances, destroying our credibility, and dragging us toward isolation and collapse. As the world scrambles to make sense of what Trump has just unleashed, one question looms over everything. Is this a bold strategy to reassert American dominance, or the beginning of America's downfall? Tonight, the entire globe holds its breath. In capitals across the globe, the reaction to Trump's declaration has been nothing short of disbelief. In Brussels, European Union officials convened an emergency summit at dawn, their faces grim as reports of collapsing markets scrolled across massive screens. The president of the European Commission called the move a direct attack on the foundation of international cooperation and warned that Europe could no longer count on the United States as a reliable partner. Germany's chancellor used even sharper words, declaring that Trump has chosen confrontation over cooperation. America is no longer a friend, but a threat. London was no different. The British Prime Minister, who had until now tried to walk a careful line with Trump, addressed Parliament with a rare tone of anger, accusing Washington of bullying our economy and blackmailing our people. France's president, visibly shaken, warned that the new U.S. tariffs on French wine, technology, and aerospace products could cripple entire industries within weeks. But it was not just the words of foreign leaders that set the tone. It was the mood of fear that spread through global institutions. NATO officials whispered that Trump's economic war could trigger fractures within the alliance itself, undermining collective defense. The United Nations convened a special session where ambassadors openly accused the United States of turning into a rogue nation. One diplomat from South America said bluntly, "This is economic terrorism." The U.S. is waging war without firing a single shot. Back home, the loudest voice of resistance came once again from Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Standing on the steps of the Capitol, with cameras flashing and microphones crowding around her, she declared, "Donald Trump is not just declaring war on the world, he is declaring war on the American people. Every new sanction, every reckless tariff will boomerang back on us. Higher prices, lost jobs, broken alliances, this is the cost of his ego." As night fell over Washington, one thing was clear. Trump had managed to do what few presidents before him could: unite nearly every ally against the United States. If the international reaction was shock, the domestic response was pure outrage. By morning, the streets of several major American cities had erupted with protests. In New York, thousands of demonstrators gathered outside the stock exchange, chanting, "No more tariffs, no more lies." Business leaders who had once cautiously supported Trump were now openly turning against him. In the Midwest, farmers who had previously rallied behind Trump's promises of America First were now facing ruin. Soybean and corn producers reported immediate cancellations of orders from China and India. At a rally in Iowa, a farmer shouted into a local news camera, "He said he'd protect us, but he just destroyed our livelihood." Trump's war is killing the American heartland. Gas prices spiked overnight, supermarkets raised prices on imported goods, and Wall Street closed in freefall. The Dow suffering its worst single-day loss since the 2008 financial crash. Economists warned that a recession could arrive faster than anyone anticipated. Democratic lawmakers accused Trump of acting like an emperor, bypassing Congress and launching an economic crusade with no strategy. But no one delivered the attack more fiercely than Jasmine Crockett. Standing in front of a sea of reporters, her voice sharp and unyielding, she declared, "Donald Trump promised prosperity, but he has delivered poverty. He promised strength, but he has given us chaos. He promised leadership, but he governs like a dictator." Her speech ignited debate nationwide. Supporters praised her courage, while Trump loyalists lashed out, branding her a traitor. Yet even some Republicans, uneasy about the economic fallout, began to whisper doubts about the president's strategy. The mood was shifting. What had begun as a bold announcement of global dominance was quickly turning into a domestic rebellion. In New Delhi, chaos unfolded as protesters stormed American-owned fast food outlets, chanting slogans against Trump and torching billboards of Pepsi, McDonald's, and KFC. Indian leaders, furious over Trump's decision to impose a 50% tariff on key exports, called the move economic hooliganism. Baba Ramdev urged citizens to boycott every U.S. brand, from sodas to smartphones. Beijing announced sweeping counter-tariffs on American tech companies, slashing billions off their market value overnight. A Chinese spokesperson warned, "If the United States wants war, we will give them war, and we will not fight alone." Rumors spread of an anti-U.S. trade coalition forming in Asia. Latin America joined in. Brazil and Argentina halted U.S. agricultural imports, striking at farmers already in crisis. Africa's leaders condemned Trump's sanctions as neo-colonial bullying. The EU hinted at creating a new global trade alliance without the United States. Jasmine Crockett seized the moment. On primetime TV, she thundered, "Donald Trump has not just isolated America, he has humiliated us. We are no longer the leader of the free world. We are its enemy." For the first time in modern history, the United States, once the hub of global commerce, was being treated like a pariah. And as Trump doubled down, promising even tougher measures to come, the world braced for a conflict that looked less like trade and more like survival. On August 11th, Trump declared a national crime emergency in Washington, D.C., granting sweeping powers to federal authorities. Within hours, the streets were flooded with National Guard troops, armored vehicles, and helicopters circling low. In dramatic scenes, broadcast live, federal officers in riot gear clashed with protesters, demanding an end to the trade war. Tear gas filled the air near the White House. By the end of the day, more than 550 people had been arrested. Civil rights groups sounded the alarm. This is martial law in everything but name. Journalists reported intimidation, with several detained. Trump defended his actions. We will not allow chaos to destroy our great capital. This is about law and order. Strong order, American order. His words only inflamed outrage. Jasmine Crockett responded with unflinching fury. Donald Trump has turned Washington into a war zone. He has silenced voices, trampled on freedoms, and unleashed the military against the very people he swore to protect. This is not law and order. This is tyranny. The images of soldiers at iconic monuments, the Capitol, the Supreme Court, shocked the world. Washington, once the symbol of freedom, was now a city in lockdown and a nation in fear. Soon, rumors swept across social media. Was President Trump dead? A blurry photo appeared to show him being rushed to a hospital. Hashtags like Trump dead trended worldwide. The White House denied it, claiming Trump was in excellent health. But his absence from public view for 3 days fueled conspiracy theories of illness, of a coup, of secret negotiations between generals and Congress. Markets plunged. Citizens emptied ATMs. Gun stores filled with lines, and international leaders demanded clarity. Germany's chancellor asked bluntly, "Is Donald Trump still the president of the United States?" Jasmine Crockett demanded transparency. If the president is fit to govern, let him speak to the nation. If he is not, then his silence is a betrayal. Cable news looped empty podiums and armored vehicles, while social media dissected every hesitation from officials. Abroad, Russia declared America in terminal decline, China mocked the leadership vacuum, and Europe quietly prepared for a post-Trump world. For ordinary Americans, reality blurred with rumor. Parents clutched children tighter, neighbors formed watch groups, and whispers of martial law spread nationwide. America was standing on the edge, not of tariffs or sanctions, but of collapse. By nightfall, the U.S. felt like a country on the edge. Banks shuttered, shelves half empty, convoys patrolling neighborhoods. And in that darkness, Jasmine Crockett delivered a speech that electrified the nation. "My fellow Americans," she began, "we are living in a nightmare of our president's making. Donald Trump has declared war on the world, and in doing so, he has declared war on us. Our jobs are gone, our allies have vanished, and our freedoms are being trampled under the boots of soldiers patrolling our own streets." The crowd roared, chanting, "We want freedom! We want truth!" Crockett's voice rose above them. "This is not strength. This is desperation, the desperation of a man clinging to power. But America does not belong to one man. It belongs to the people, and we will not be silenced." Her words reverberated globally, carried live across networks. She pointed toward the Capitol dome, glowing in the night. "Our democracy is fragile, but it is not dead. It lives in us, in every voice, every protest, every act of courage. And tonight, we send a message to Donald Trump. You may try to silence us, but you will never erase us." The crowd erupted. Hashtags like #StandWithJasmine trended worldwide, and her final words became a call to arms. If you want freedom to rise again, do not look away. Join us, stand with us, and never let this fight fade into silence. The broadcast faded to black with a final message: subscribe to stay informed. The fight for truth is only beginning.